کنفرانس بین المللی با حضور رئیس جمهور برگزیده مقاومت، ارتباط زنده با 2000 نقطه در کشورهای مختلف و اشرف 3، درآغاز 40مین سال مقاومت انقلابی، روز شهیدان و زندانیان سیاسی، سالروز تأسیس ارتش آزادیبخش ملی. سرنگونی رژیم آخوندی لازمه دموکراسی و عدالت اجتماعی در ایران.
If you look at Iran, the reality is that the policy of appeasement and engagement with Tehran has been an absolute disastrous failure. It did not moderate Tehran's behaviour and only allowed the regime to pursue its destabilising activities, cashing in on the incentives and sanction relief. Back in January, just before the corona lockdown in the United Kingdom, my colleagues and I discussed this at a conference in the House of Commons organised by the British Committee for Iran Freedom. We agreed that the right approach for the United Kingdom is to adopt a firm policy on Iran that recognises the decades of popular struggle for freedom and democracy in Iran and the Iranian People's Resistance Movement, the NCRI, led by Mrs. Mariam Rajavi. We also agreed that there must be an internationally led accountability process to hold the regime's leaders to account, and we in the West had to help the Iranian people establish that. Simply said, our conclusion was that the problems caused by the regime in Tehran had Iranian solutions based on a viable Iranian alternative. Today, the regime is weaker than a year ago, especially after the nationwide protests in November last year and January this year, both of which it brutally suppressed. We have just seen during the last weeks repeated attacks against the NCRI and the PMOI in regime state media, which essentially says that the organised opposition is a regime's Achilles heel. And it is only logical that you have to support the Iranian resistance movement, NCRI, if you want Iran to be more peaceful, benevolent and a constructive force for good on the international scene. More importantly, the NCRI has shown during the last 41 years that it is up to the task, even as the regime has executed close to 120,000 of its supporters and members. A brighter future for Iran is achievable and within reach, as the NCRI President-elect, Mrs. Mariam Rajavi, is often saying. We in the West and the international community have to stand with the Iranian people and NCRI as you try to take back the country and democratic revolution that the theocratic regime stole in 1979. That is what I will continue to do, because it is the right policy and morally correct to do. And I have no doubt that a free, secular and democratic Iran is possible if the Iranian people are given the change and the opportunity.
Nous étions 14 000 maires et élus à soutenir les droits de l'homme et la démocratie en Iran en juin 2018, quand une délégation de notre comité a participé au grand rassemblement de la résistance iranienne à Villepinte. Le cœur des Français bat pour soutenir le combat de Mariam Rajavi et de tous ses militants contre la dictature religieuse de Khomeini et de ses mollahs. Tant que ce régime théocratique régnera à Téhéran, je soutiendrai le combat de Mariam Rajavi. L'année dernière, j'ai pu me déplacer en Albanie à l'occasion de la tenue de ce meeting annuel qui avait lieu à Ashraf III, cité construite près de Tirana par les moudjahidines du peuple d'Iran. C'était pour moi comme un pèlerinage, car en plus de la visite des lieux, j'ai pu rencontrer de nombreux rescapés des prisons de Khomeini, qui ont été torturés, qui ont témoigné et qui nous ont présenté le musée de la résistance dédié aux martyrs. Cette excellente idée de Mariam Rajavi de nous réunir chaque année pour contribuer au message d'espoir qu'elle adresse aux Iraniens de l'intérieur du pays me touche.
Dear friends, together with many members of the European Parliament, as Friends of a Free Iran, we have signed an urgent letter regarding the situation of political prisoners in Iran. Recently, the regime announced the arrest of 2 young elite university students in Tehran. Mr. Amir Hossein Muradi and Ali Younesi are winners of national and international gold and silver medals of the Olympiad on Astronomy and Astrophysics. They have been arrested for having links with the Iranian opposition, PMOI. The PMOI has released a list of names and photographs of 18 others who have been arrested on similar charges. We, as the Friends of Free Iran in the European Parliament, want to remind the Iranian regime that any abuse or ill treatment of these students or other political prisoners will have serious consequences and will not be tolerated. They must be released immediately. We in Europe will not stand by speechless and just watch. We have insisted that EU's relations with Iran must be conditioned to a halt to human rights abuses.
My solidarity and support to all the Iranian people, and in particular, of course, to all of you who are gathered today for this different type of rally. Today we call upon the civilized nations of the planet, we call upon the United Nations, international human rights organizations, to call for urgently an international delegation to visit Iran's prisons. The world needs to hear the story, the truth of what is happening in Iran. We've had enough of the lies internationally. We have had enough of the mistreatment of human rights when there is a viable alternative available. And so I would like to endorse and again express our support for the 10-point plan of Mrs. Rajavi. As I say every year, we say it again, that it's very clear to us in Australia that with Madam Rajavi, we are talking about perhaps the bravest woman on the planet. As that type of courage will see the Iranian resistance win through.
به هموطنان، دوستان، خانم رجوی، رئیس جمهور منتخب مقاومت ایران و با درود به کانونهای شورشی دنباله‌رو راه میلیشیای دهه 60 و با گرامی داشت روز زندانیان سیاسی و شهدا. 4 دهه آتش به اختیار خمینی و پس از او خامنه ای. 4 دهه زندان، شکنجه، اعدام، فقر، نابودی به دوران پایانی خود نزدیک می شود و مقاومت ایران و در رأس آن مجاهدین ابراهیم وار از تمامی فتنه ها بزرگ و کوچک بیرون آمدند و همکنون جوانان ایرانی در هیئت کانونهای شورشی بر سر آنند که ضربه نهایی را به پیکر پوسیده ولی فقیه وارد کنند. جوانان و نوجوانانی که بی باک و بیم حتی با توجه به وضعیتی که سیاست‌های غلطوار رژیم در مقابله با بیماری کرونا ایجاد کرده، روزانه ضربه‌های کاری به رژیم وارد می‌کنند. این را به جز واقعیت‌های داخل ایران، شاهدان عینی نیز آن را تعریف می‌کنند. چند وقت پیش پیامی از دوستی از ایران به من رسید. مادری که 2 فرزندش در تمامی تظاهرات‌ها و فعالیت‌های دیگر شرکت دارند. او نوشت: وقتی بچه‌ها میرن بیرون دلم میلرزه، ولی من اونا رو به خدا میسپارم. میدانم که خطر در کمین آنهاست، ولی اینه بهای آزادی. من مطمئنم که مردم با کمک مقاومت ایران کار رو یکسره میکنند. بله، این یکی از هزاران نمونه مادر ایرانی است که در طی 4 دهه فرزندان رشید خود را فدیه راه آزادی کرده و میکنند. من به عنوان یک زن، یک مادر به چنین شیرزنانی افتخار میکنم. شیرزنانی که آرزوی دنیایی بهتر برای آینده فرزندان خود و مردم ایران را دارند. مردم ایران به داشتن چنین زنان و مادرانی مفتخر هستند. میدانم در این لحظه خامنه‌ای در لانه عنکبوتی خود نشسته و صدای مقاومت مردم ایران لرزه بر دامنش انداخته. پس خامنه‌ای گوش کن، به قول مرجان شورشگر، گیرم که میکشید، با این جوجه های نشسته در آشیانه چه میکنید؟ با تشکر از شما.
Salam, my dear friends from Iran. Dear friends, your resistance has gone through many ups and downs over the 40 years. We understood the hardships that you went through in your resistance under the leadership of Mr. Marian Rajavi and Mr. Masoud Rajavi. You have survived the executions of thousands of prisoners in 1988 massacre, the airstrikes, rocket attacks, siege and killing of the comrades in Ashraf and Liberty. There were great movements in the 20th century and they failed under the one and these challenges, and no trace of them remains. You have succeeded in shocking the pillars of Mullah's regime, which will be soon overthrown. I congratulate all the Iranians for the 40th anniversary of the founding of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, and on the eve of the overthrow of the Mullahs and the establishment of a democratic republic. Inflation and apparatus of the plundered national wealth have plunged the country into crisis. In the face of popular protests, such as the December 2019 uprising that led to the repression, killing and massacre of 1,500 people, this crisis continues in the various forms. Working men, women, teachers, nurses, farmers, and other sections of society are protesting, and strikes continue every day in Iran. They publicly call for overthrow of the regime. The only solution of this crisis is the overthrow of the mullahs and establish a democratic framework with the participation of the people. We see that on the one hand, the dictator regime in Iran is repressing inside the country, executing, torturing, imprisoning opponents, bombing and assassinating abroad in order to destroy the National Council of Resistance. And on the other hand, is trying to distort the image of the resistance by spreading lies. It is shameful for any free human being, and especially for us, Europeans, to turn the back on the people and the resistance of Iran and help the survivor of this authoritarian government. In conclusion, I like to express my support for this resolution of the US Congress in support of the 10-point plan of President-elect Mariam Rajavi, signed by 221 congressmen. I call on other European parliaments and personalities to support this resolution. wishing the best of the people and resistance of Iran. Salam Azadi.